Welcome, guys, back to the Grateful Living podcast. Today, I'm thankful to have Joel and Jose Rodriguez of Tasium. Tasium is a fidget infused apparel line slash company that helps people with autism and ADHD handle stress, anxiety, and assist in sensory related issues. Joel and Jose, thank you so much for joining me.
Glad to be here.
Thank you for having us. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, no, thankful to have you. So I guess for the people that don't know you as well, can both of you kind of just give an intro on your beginnings, where you grew up, family situation, what type of kids you were, things like that. Take us back.
All right. So you want to tell them a little bit about yourself before we get into how we grew up?
Let's see. My name's Joel, and I grew up with autism. I was diagnosed with autism at age 7, I believe. Yeah. And then during the time, I think a few years on, my brother would fight some of my battles for me.
Yeah. Well, do you want to talk about like your interests, what things you like before we get into all
interests?
That? Yeah.
Okay.
Who's Joel? Tell them who's Joel.
I'm technically Joel. I really want to be a voice actor.
Nice.
Because I've done like a bunch of different voice impressions.
Yeah.
When I was a kid and even now.
One of our favorites is Peter Griffin, and then we got T'Challa.
Okay.
Black Panther.
You want to do some?
Okay.
So off of Family Guy, I think Peter Griffin's one of my best. And
the way I actually had Black Panther was because I think I watched like the movie once or twice or a couple of times.
Yeah.
And I kept saying the common line, Wakanda forever.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's what got us into Marvel. Was that movie. So that would have been awesome. One of his favorite characters. But to speak on kind of us and our upbringing, we didn't grow up in the best of circumstances. We have a beautiful mom who did everything she could to give us everything we need and some of our wants. We didn't grow up in an affluent area at all. And growing up, it really brought us closer together because all we had was each other. So me and my brother were less than a year apart. And growing up, we did everything together, from learning how to tie our shoes to playing video games. Now we're starting to teach him how to drive, which is pretty crazy to even think of. Playing basketball together, doing everything together, just learning life together. And it really didn't hit me that he was different until like maybe middle school. Because my whole life, I'm like, hey, this is my brother. Like I knew that he had a different mindset and he did things differently because I would try things like sarcasm with him and he just wouldn't understand it. Because
I used to think off of a common phrase in sarcasm, raining cats and dogs. I thought it was actually
yeah. But now like he understands it a little more and he knows that it's not really raining cats and dogs. Yeah. But but my entire life, as our entire lives, growing up, we've always been there for one another, as any other brothers would be. And I did have, like I said before, I had a sense that he was different. He wasn't like everybody else. And I would, as the older brother, like I was protective. I was very protective of that. And I would help him as much as I could. Even like, I don't know if you know what IEP meetings are.
Yeah.
Individual learning plans for people who have special needs.
Yep.
And when he would have them, sometimes we would have to go with our mom because like there was nobody to watch us. So we would be there, just little kids chilling. And they would talk to my mom about, how they plan on helping him in the classroom. And then I'd be like, hey mom, how can I help? And like try to help differentiate the learning and break down to a level that he could understand it at and really grasp what was happening in that classroom. So I would do things like that. And then, once we got to high school, how Tasium started was I was in this business class, and they were like, you have to come up with a business to work on during the class. And I was like, I want to do something to help my brother and his everyday life. And I had a project like maybe a month or two prior about how to help children with autism in the classroom setting, right? And the cool thing about the school I went to is that you get to take like whatever you want to learn and like put that into whatever project you do. And they take the English out of that, and the research that you have to do for that. Like they pull all the credits out of those projects. And I always picked something that had to do with autism because I wanted to better understand him and how I could help him be his best self. So that's when I came across fidget toys. And fidget toys, they help reduce stress and anxiety while sharpening focus. But the main issue is that these fidget toys right here, they get lost all the time. It's so easily lost. And that's when we decided to attach it to a shirt. You want to stand up and show them? Attach it to a shirt.
Take it off.
We'll attach it to a shirt so that he doesn't have to worry about losing it. So we have a fidget toy right there. And then I took the word autism, scrambled it, and was like, this is my business for the class. I didn't think anything of it. I was like, my brother I made some prototypes, he could use them. That was really it. And then
it became a huge success.
It did. It did, because right after that, we entered this thing called, I like to call it the fish tank. It's like Shark Tank, but for people in high school.
Yeah. Before we get there, Jose, can I ask some more about you guys growing up?
Yeah.
I'll ask you about NFT in a sec. So, I guess, Joel, if you could, right, there's someone out there that's 6 or 7 today that's going to be diagnosed with autism or Asperger's. As you look at your journey, is there any piece of advice that you have or anything you wish you would have known at a younger age about living with autism?
To be more confident with autism. Because when I was a kid, I didn't really like go up front to people and just say like, hey, I have autism. Once they got to know me really well, they got to know a good portion, Joel, like a nice person.
Mm-hmm. But you don't think they got to really know you because they didn't know that you have autism?
No, it's just like I never really I told anyone about it. So that's technically on me, not on them.
Yeah. And to be fair, you didn't really know you had autism. He probably 4 or 5 years ago, he just we had a conversation with him.
Yeah.
But
no, I meant during middle school.
Oh, during middle school. Oh, okay. No, that's good to know. And stuff like this is what's awesome, is having that dialogue, because every person with autism is different.
Yeah.
So you really have to get to know the individual person, because it's a case by case basis.
Yep.
So we love just diving into his brain and his genius up here, and figuring out what really goes on up here, because I know that it's not what goes on in my brain, just like everybody else, right? Everybody has a different sort of mindset.
Yeah. And again, you don't need to answer this if you don't want to. I'm just curious. Did you ever feel mistreated by anyone, or do you have any pieces of advice for people that do treat people with autism, and make fun of them or things of that nature?
I'd say off of that, how you deal with bullying in school, like you talk to a teacher about it, or I forget the other one, but I'd mostly talk to a teacher.
Yeah.
And have them take care of it.
Yep.
And try not getting too into contact with that person.
Yeah. No, that's great advice.
Because especially in a middle school, because we all know how middle school fights happen.
Yep.
One's over a girl, another's over the last slice of pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah, kids are vicious, man.
Yeah.
Kids are vicious. So I'm glad we got through it.
Yeah. And on your side, Jose, I guess for a sibling, um, you know, receiving, I guess, this news of their sibling being diagnosed, is there anything that you would go back and or give advice to in terms of just both of you guys understanding each other, being a support network for him and things like that?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's being more conscious of what and how you say things, because oftentimes, especially, I mean, it was hard because I was a kid, but looking back, if I could control it, that's how I would do it. Because like I said, something as little as like sarcasm, like he would take it literal. So I remember one time, and it broke my heart because I didn't mean it in the way he took it, but like he accidentally like turned off my Xbox on accident. And like I was like 8, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna kill you. But like I wasn't serious in any way. It was just like, and then he really felt that like in his heart. And that tore me up, because at that time I didn't know that he didn't know. But once I realized that he didn't know, I was like, oh my goodness. Like I would never kill you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's really like word choice, and then also how you approach situations, understanding that you can't approach the situation in the way that you would want the situation approached to you. You really have to like, it's asking, you know what it is? It's more asking questions like, hey, why did you do this? Or what did you think when you heard this? Or kind of thing, because that really allows you to understand them. And as you understand them better, you're able to approach situations, at a way where they can, understand better.
Yeah.
So it's really just, I wish I asked more questions, and I wish my word choice was a little different with sarcasm.
Yeah.
That's really it.
100%. We talked a little bit before the recording, but, you've grown up, with a single mom. I'm curious, just if you want to speak to that experience and, what she's meant to you guys through the journey.
Yeah. You want to talk about what mom means to you?
Well, she's basically our rock.
Yeah. She's our rock. And, like I said, we didn't grow up in the best of circumstances, but we really made best of what we had. And we were super young, so we don't know that like she's struggling when we were growing up. But we were happy, and we loved her. We love her with all our heart, and we're super thankful that she made those sacrifices and those long nights working at having 2 to 3 different jobs at once, to make sure that we're good. We really are eternally grateful, and we can't repay her, so all we do is just love on her. And everything we do in this world going forward is to make her proud.
Yes.
So like he said, she's our rock, and she's gonna see this. So you want to say we love you, mom, on 3?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
We love you, Mom.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. You mentioned it a little bit, but I guess, obviously for, minorities, and then also for people coming from lower socioeconomic backgrounds, things like college and things like entrepreneurship aren't always, that education isn't always given.
Yeah.
Those are 2 aspects that are important to your identity.
Mhm.
I guess maybe speak to your experience, and then also, if there is a 16-year-old kid, that just doesn't know what to do, or, what advice would you have for them now looking back at your journey?
Yeah. You hit the tail on the donkey. Like that, those things, college and entrepreneurship, are not really brought to those opportunities aren't at our doorstep. And honestly, I didn't even know what the word entrepreneurship was till I joined that business class. So, and these are things that other people just grow up knowing, right? So understanding that understanding that, you know, you do have to work twice as hard to get to where you want to get to, but that doesn't mean you can't do it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
If anything, that means you have to do it. You should take that challenge head on so that you can then go back and help other people in that position and bring those opportunities to their doorstep that are just like you. So, you know, one piece of advice that I would really give to them is take your passion and find a way to make a career out of it. Whether it's, if you love sports, but, you know, and you're good at it, but you can't make it past the high school level, you can be a sports writer, right? You could be an analyst, you could be a journalist. Everybody loves Stephen A. Smith, right? You could be the next Stephen A. Smith. But really, you have to, it's not only setting the big dreams and the big goals, because we all have big dreams and big goals, but it's putting your head down and working on it. So taking whatever passion you have and just doing a ton of research on different careers in that field, you'll be able to go far. Because the top, you know, 1% of the world are all people who work like day in, day out, eat, breathe, and sleep their main career. And the only way to really do that if it's something you love. So that's what I would do, is try not to fall into this life cycle that is just surrounded by you, where it's kind of like you wake up, you go to a job you hate, you come back and you go to sleep miserable. The goal should be happiness. So like strive for that every day.
Yeah, no, 100%. So you were talking about it a little bit before I cut you off, but you had taken a class your junior year at 16, E360. You decide to make this, you know, I guess, talk to us about, like, obviously that was a class, but why did you decide to join the NFTE, National Youth Entrepreneurship Challenge? Like what, I mean, because a lot of people have ideas, but they don't put action to it. What kept you going?
So as a junior, you know, I had goals of at least going to college, right? Actually, I'm lying. I didn't know if I wanted to go to college or not, but I had goals to at least like apply and try. But the thing is that I'm like, all right, if I'm going to give this college thing a try, I have to know what I want to do. And that's bad advice, because you're not gonna, like, some people go into college freshman year and out senior year knowing what they want to do then. So please keep that in mind if you're in college right now. But like, everybody's time is different. But for me, I didn't want to waste $100,000. It feels like $200 million, because I don't have $100,000 to my name. So having to take that out of loans and put that into college, I needed to know what I wanted to do, or else I would have felt like I'm wasting time, money, resources, etc. So so I had taken driver's ed, and my driver's ed teacher was a teacher for the business class. And I was like, business is cool. Everything's a business, literally. This computer that mine was built by a business. This table we're sitting at was built by a business. So I was like, you know, business runs the world. I want to run the world. Like, I want to be able to take the world and have it in the palm of my hands, but do it in a way where I can impact others in a positive way. So I wanted to put that spin on business. And then I joined the class. And when I joined the class, we came up with the idea of Tasium. And they were saying the top 3 business pitches that we come up with, they're going to single-handedly choose them and put them into the Youth Entrepreneurship Challenge, into the NFTE Youth Entrepreneurship Challenge. So for me, I was like, I have nothing to lose. I put together a pitch, and the first time I pitched it, it was terrible. It was so bad. I couldn't even get past the first couple of sentences. Like, it was so bad. But it was just in front of like my peers and my teachers. And then I was like, man, I'm not going to be one of the 3. It is what it is. You know, life goes on. This was a great idea. I'm glad like I was able to help my brother. And I kind of was like, all right, this next chapter in my life, at least I know I want to be into business. Yeah. And then in the summer, I get a text from the teacher, and she's like, hey, we chose you to be in the NFTE Youth Entrepreneurship Challenge. I'm like, wait, but mine was terrible. And they're like, no, we believe in you. So then we took that, and every day, actually, no, it wasn't in the summer. It was getting hot. That's why I felt like summer. It was like spring. It was like April time. So, and that's the height of the pandemic, right? So they, this is 2020.
Yeah.
They texted me, and I would be the only student at campus with the teacher. We had masks on, and we're just practicing the pitch, retuning it, refining it, and just we're really working towards making this as best as possible. And from 9 to 3 p.m. for a week straight, for weeks straight, day in, day out at the school, while everybody's doing like classes online. And then we entered the competition. And I was able to, there was 20,000 people, and out of 20,000 people, first day, it got cut to 32. And then from 32, it got cut again to like 15. And then from 15, it got cut to 3. So it was just like big chunks. Yeah. And by the grace of God, we were able to make it through each stage and come out with the victory that really helped to jumpstart Tasium.
Yeah. I don't know if you talked about it, but what does the cube stand for?
So Tasium is the word autism scrambled, and the cube, that's the dot of the I, is it stands for inclusion, community, wholeness, all things that are true about the autism community. And what we did was we did it in puzzle pieces. So I don't know if you know, but the puzzle piece, like the singular puzzle piece, it was for a while it was kind of like the breast cancer awareness ribbon. It was the logo for autism. But the logo didn't stand for what the community, it didn't represent it in the right way, because the logo was kind of, what it was it was implying that there's something wrong and that you need to be cured. And that, you're missing a couple pieces. That's what it was implying. So we wanted to take that and put the positive twist on it for what the community really is, and have this be the new logo for the autism community, because this truly represents the community. Yeah.
Joel, what was it like receiving like some of those first prototypes that your brother created?
It was nice.
You remember where the hole was? It was like up here.
Yeah.
You remember that one?
Yeah, the shirt was nice. The grommet was over here.
Yeah.
Armpit. So you'd have to like really hold your arm like this. Yeah. To use it. But it's better right down like okay, I don't think you can see this. It's better you're down over here.
Yeah.
That way you're able to fidget well.
Yeah, have it by your side.
Yeah.
But there was one problem that I saw with this. Well, me specifically, because I'm actually a lefty.
Yeah.
And so I could just fidget with my right.
Yeah.
And he's going to have like a grommet over on the right side for people who write with their left.
And I was just about to say, we are constantly improving.
Yeah.
And that was something recently. He was like, hey, it's uncomfortable sometimes because I wanna fidget with my right hand while I write with my left. So now we're going back to the drawing board, and we're just gonna have the option on our website where people can choose a lefty or a righty. Do you want it on the left side or the right side? That way it can help him, and then other people who are left-handed just like him.
Yeah. So, no, every business every business has to constantly improve. And
wait, question, are you a lefty or a righty?
I'm a righty.
Yeah, me too.
Righty. Yeah. So, I guess can you talk about, after you won, right? You're still in high school. Like how did you manage, putting in time, to the business, to school? You have friends, you might have, a relationship, things like that. How did you manage those aspects, and maybe talk to any, young high schoolers that are also entrepreneurs about that aspect?
It's crazy because as you bring it up, it brings me back, and there was a lot happening in that time frame. I mean, once we won, I was a senior once Tasium won. So I'm now a senior, on the verge of applying to colleges, or actually on the receiving the acceptances and denies from colleges and trying to figure all that out on top of working 2 to 3 jobs. I was working 2 to 3 jobs since I was 16. I mean, since I was 15.
Wow.
So I was doing that on top of school, on top of business, and trying to keep my social life alive. But the social life had to take a hit. It had to take a hit.
Yeah.
And I could always rekindle that. I have great friends and they understand. But if you, especially kids who grow up playing sports, they understand like time management is huge, because when you play sports, you have practice and the games, school, study for quizzes, things like that. So just really being timely with the things you do and getting it done at the time you set yourself out to do it. You really have to be on your A game if you want to be able to juggle 4 to 5 different things.
Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about running, a clothing company, and, whether that's design or manufacturing, how you figured out those aspects? Would you, things like that?
Yeah. So YouTube is king. YouTube is king. I learned how to do graphic design on YouTube, and granted, I'm not the best, but as long as I'm able to have something that the manufacturer can understand, I'm like, oh, I see what you're trying to do. They'll clean it up a little bit and then show me the revised version, and I'm like, exactly, that's what was in my brain. But you have to take something that's in here in your brain and put it out onto paper or the screen. So I had to learn how to do graphic design, as well as really understanding like what's a good deal, what's not when it comes to manufacturers. And it's hard because of the supply chain issue. Even though the pandemic, where like it feels like we're toward the end stages. And that I might be ignorant in saying that because I know numbers are always rising. But it feels, because we've been dealing with it for so long, it feels as if it's not a factor anymore, but it definitely is when it comes to supply chain. So it's affecting our financials day in and day out, and numbers are changing. You see the gas prices, right? Like everything's going up, everything just in the world, right, outside of the supply chain. So really understanding like the market and talking to multiple manufacturers and getting quotes from everywhere, and then comparing and contrasting, and then also going with best quality, because you want the best quality for the best price. You don't want the best price for for bad quality. So really gauging all of that. It was something that I had to learn, and I was kind of thrown into a crash course. But honestly, like I was the most fun time of my life. Like I had a blast learning all of this, because I know that the information that I've learned I can apply no matter what I do in my life.
Yeah. The shipping and labeling process is also something that's big for clothing companies. Have there been any lessons there?
Definitely. Because when we first started, I would go over, I don't know if you remember, I used to drive to the post office and do like the $8 if it fits, it ships. And then I had another friend at Babson who has a clothing company called Humble. And I seen him, and he had like personalized packaging, and he was shipping it for like $2 across the country. How do you do that? So really surrounding yourself with the right group of people as well, that are trying to do the same things you're doing. Because the thing is if I have a clothing brand, he has a clothing brand, another friend of ours has a clothing brand, and we all kind of
collaborate.
Talk to each other about the things that we're doing wrong. You're able to learn 3 times as fast, because you're learning not only from your own mistakes, but then these 2 mistakes. So then you just do that all the time. So shipping, just to get free game. You want to get a Dymo label printer. A label printer it is gonna be like roughly like $200, but it's worth it. And then you get the 4x6, shipping labels, and you go on pirateship.com, and you can ship anything that's like 5 ounces all the way to California for $2. So free game.
Yeah.
If anybody wants to start a clothing brand.
Yeah. You talked about it there, but talk about, going to Babson and what that meant for you and how that's helped.
Yeah, it's been, one of the biggest blessings that came out of Tasium, because like I said, we don't come from an affluent background. So college, I was gonna go to college like with loans, with high interest rates and things of that nature. And I'm able to, so I don't like to go back to like the Nifty story. After we won, there was this Babson Nifty full ride scholarship. So Babson being the #1 business school in the country, but I think the world, it has pretty big numbers, pretty big amounts of like international students. So I know it's huge around the entire world.
Yeah.
And I applied, and due to my success at Nifty, I was able to get the full ride.
Awesome.
And that was a dream come true. Free school is the goal for most people. So to get that,
and it's the goal for everybody.
Yeah, well, I don't want to speak for everybody, but I think it is.
Yeah.
And being able to go home and tell my mom I'm going to college for free, and with one that carries a lot of weight too. Like Babson it really helps you put you in the right position to succeed. And it brought tears to, we all cried. It was a moment. But Babson's been amazing. I really couldn't imagine myself anywhere else, because every class you take, you can apply. I can apply to Tasium, and that information, like I said, once it's in here, once it's in my brain, like I can apply it to any venture I do in the future. So Babson's been everything.
Yeah. I'm curious, you've mentioned, obviously Babson's a great school, but transitioning as maybe a person of color or someone that didn't grow up in affluent background, having gone through the past year, is there anything you would have told yourself, when you first started, or you would tell someone that's going to be an incoming freshman this September?
I think it's have a open mind. I find myself in entrepreneurship. There's a bunch of finance bros that come in thinking that they're going to be finance bros, and then they take a marketing course and like, oh snap, it changes the game. Yeah. And now I want to do marketing. So really not coming in with anything set in stone, and allowing yourself to really like immersing yourself in each course that you take, in each class that you take, because this is like your future. So you really want to be all in on it, and understanding that like, I personally don't think that anyone should concentrate in anything until you tried out every single like, idea, every single class first, right? Finish your gen eds before you start diving into being a finance bro.
Yeah.
Or anything else.
Yeah. You guys have received a lot of national press, whether it's Inside Edition, People Magazine. What has that meant for both of you? Just seeing, some of the biggest publications interview you two as brothers and your company.
Well, he's the cool guy on campus now. Everybody knows you.
It's impressive, actually. I didn't think we'd be able to like get this far, and I'm hoping for a better, because as this is only the beginning of Tasium.
Yeah, I mean, we go from glory to glory.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool because
I was actually going to say something that you said to me before.
What happened?
You actually told me once, like first it's gonna be Inside Edition, next it's Oprah.
Oh yeah. First Inside Edition, next is Oprah. We're gonna sell her watch, and I think she canceled her show, so we gotta shoot for Ellen before she finishes hers.
Yeah.
Like, nah, we got the Today Show. There's a lot we could try out.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I was speaking to, we go from glory to glory, and we continue to strive for better and better every day. And the cool thing about being on all those publications is that, we're able to put light on a community that doesn't really get the attention it deserves. The special needs community in general is a community that is overlooked too much. And we have decided to step in and play that role and put shining light on this community because, they're as awesome, smart, loving, caring human beings as anybody else is. So they deserve all the attention. And that's probably the biggest plus of being on all these different, aside from, the people coming to our website and all the awesome texts that we get, like, oh, my brother has autism and, I love him just like you love your brother. It was awesome to see, kind of thing. Like, that stuff, it really brings joy to our days.
Yeah. Jose, how did you become such a good speaker? I saw the 2021 EY Strategic Growth Forum. Yeah. You got any tips on public speaking?
Well, practice makes perfect. So, that speech that you seen, I did that more times than I can count. Like, I was in the shower, brushing my teeth, sleeping, replaying it. People count sheep. I'm reciting the speech just because I really want to be able to do anything I do. I want to do it to the best of my ability. And I'm a talker. I can talk somebody's ear off. So making sure that when I do talk, that I am, like I said, picking the right words to convey what's in my brain. Because sometimes, like, my brain runs too fast and I don't say what I'm thinking because I didn't think through my words. So really, especially when it comes to timed speeches, saying it, like, making sure that every word is hitting home. It's something I take pride in. And, I hope that video can be the fruit of my labor.
Yeah. I recently saw you guys started a Kickstarter campaign. Can you talk about that, what your goals are, and
So the Kickstarter campaign is starring this guy to my left. He's all over the video. So if you want to see more of him, check out the video. But the Kickstarter is awesome. We really want to take Tasium to new heights. And in order to do that, you need funds. So we're calling on the support of the community, the support of the world, to allow Tasium to become the biggest apparel brand for those who have special needs, right? My biggest thing is, whether you're missing a chromosome or missing a limb, you deserve to feel confident and successful in a world that traditionally is not designed for you. So we want to be able to help provide that for people. And right now we're in the autism space, but we're going to continue to grow, and we want to grow into, like, the Down syndrome space and the people who are limbless, that space. Like, we want to really, like, continue to grow and become the one-stop shop for all things special needs. And, the way we wanted to start off is with the Kickstarter. So at $25,000, we're going to maximize our t-shirt inventory because we have more demand than we can uphold. Being on Inside Edition is no joke. Inside Edition is like, that is Oprah. We were talking about Oprah, but Inside Edition and Oprah, same level. They get a lot of people to watch their show. Yeah. And we had a bunch of orders after that. And that's when we were like, hold on.
And also on the YouTube, I think there's like
the YouTube's crazy.
Thousands of likes. I think like 7,000.
Mm-hmm. The views is ridiculous. It's like 180,000 views in 24 hours.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. So and it's awesome. I'm saying ridiculous in the most happy tone possible because it's a great problem to have, is to have more demand than you can uphold. So we want to be able to maximize t-shirt inventory. Then at $50, we're gonna grow our collection and expand Tasium's impact. So we'll have like hoodies with new ways to fidget. You'll see more on the Kickstarter, but it's the instead of hoodie strings, it will be chewable strings, so that people can chew safely I chew on my hoodie strings all the time, but especially people who fidget or like have a tendency to fidget on the spectrum, especially if you're on the lower end of the spectrum, you tend to fidget with your mouth more than with your hands. So we want to be able to impact the entire spectrum. We recognize that this shirt is geared towards those like Joel who are high functioning, but we want to help everybody, and we won't stop till we help everybody. At 100,000, we're gonna like visit and donate 5 special needs schools. We're gonna donate our products there. At 250,000, we're gonna sponsor the training for neurodiverse people to get into the workplace, because I don't know if you know, but it's much harder if you're neurodiverse to get a job.
Yeah.
So we want to combat that at all means. And with 250,000, we'll be able to take some of our funds and help people who are neurodiverse get into the workforce. And the big one is $500,000. You want to tell them what we're gonna do?
Sponsor the Special Olympics.
We're gonna sponsor the Special Olympics, and that's gonna be pretty awesome. Growing up, we did a bunch of sports, so
I think mostly basketball.
Mostly basketball for sure.
Yeah.
So being able to sponsor the Special Olympics is a big goal of ours.
Yeah.
And
I think I said this before on the different podcasts.
What do you think?
I felt like basketball.
What do you the do perfect?
Yeah. So I said like in a different podcast.
Yeah.
That's that when we were kids, we kept like doing trick shots in the basketball hoop.
Yeah.
In our old middle school.
Mm-hmm.
And I said that we're like dude perfect minus we're dude average.
Yeah, call it dude average. Average Joes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big goal of ours, and we're excited to see where this Kickstarter goes and calling on the community to help us.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. And I'll put that link in the show notes. That reminded me, you guys have done some trademarks and some patents.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any advice or anything you want to say about that experience?
It's a long one. Anything that has to go through a legal system takes forever, but finding the right people that can back you up in those spaces is important. Especially if you're young and you didn't pass the bar exam. Like you really want a good lawyer. So same thing as finding a manufacturer. You call around, find good quotes, figure out who has the best quality for the best price, and go with them and be straight up with them and be straightforward and saying like, I honestly don't know what I'm doing. All I know is that this right here is special to me, and we want to be able to have our intellectual property on it. So, and then asking them like, what's the process like? What do I need to do? What should I read? What should I research? And they'll help you, because the more you know, the better the more you can apply it going forward, just like everything else.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, Joel and Jose, we talked about it quite a bit. Was there anything either of you wanted to talk about that we didn't get a chance to?
I genuinely am unsure.
I have one for sure.
Oh, what is it?
Go Celtics. Yes.
Yes.
Go Celtics.
Yes, sir.
So I said Celtics in 4, now it's Celtics in 5. We got to get this W.
Yeah. 100%. One's in there. Yeah.
We're tied 1-1 with the Warriors.
Yeah, not for long. Not for long. We're going to go get this W on Sunday or Wednesday.
Yeah. Well, Joel and Jose, I just want to acknowledge, or before I do that, what's the best way, if people want to support you, what's the best way for them to do that?
Kickstarter, for sure. Go to the Kickstarter, and then after you go to Kickstarter, follow our Instagram. Actually, all our socials, but Instagram, Facebook is where we mainly are. Tasium.worldwide. And if you want to learn more about us and see like the different interviews that we've had, go to our website, tasiumworldwide.com.
Cool. Well, Joel and Jose, I just want to acknowledge you, both of you. Just it's cool to see the purpose behind your business. You know, Jose, for you to think about your brother and see maybe at some point you made the observation he was losing fidget toys, and to come up with a solution for that. And Joel, for you to be the face of this company, and just do the work that you do. It's awesome, and I'm glad that you're being recognized nationally, and best of luck going forward.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.